Blastula. The stage that comes after cleavage is known as blastula. The cleavage ends with the formation of a 32 cell stage which is known as morula. Morula has 32 blastomeres present in it. Blastula is a hollow sphere of blastomeres surrounding a cavity. The cavity of blastula is called blastocele. The different blastomeres, while the formation of different blastomeres takes place, there's a small space formed between each blastomere. This cavity rearranges themselves to form what is known as blastocele. The process of formation of blastula is known as blastulation, and blastula, that is a 32 to 64 cell stage. So one zygote is formed, the stage, the 30 up to 32 cell stage is known as morula. From 32 to 64 cell stage it is known as blastula. And there are different types of blastula. Blastula formation, or the blastomeres, as I told you, the blastomeres, they are formed based on the amount and distribution of yolk. So blastula is also of different types based on the amount and distribution of yolk. The blastula of various groups of animals differs in form and structure depending upon a variety of factors such as the size of the amount and distribution of yolk, etc. There are following categories of blastula have been recognized in different groups of animals. The first one is coeloblastula. It is a hollow blastula containing, so you can find a blasto. This is the blastula. It has a spacious blastocele. So it is a hollow blastula containing a large spacious blastocele. The blastocele is filled with a fluid containing mucopolysaccharides. So you have an animal pole, a vegetal pole, and the cells rearranged. The cells rearranged based on their size. Always near the vegetal pole you have the larger blastomeres, and towards the animal pole you have the smaller or the microblastomeres, whereas macroblastomeres are present towards vegetal cells. And this first picture, the first picture indicates a fair amount of blastocele, and this is where you find it here on a microlecithal egg, where the amount of yolk is evenly distributed. And this type of blastula, which is coeloblastula, which is an unequal one, that there the blastocele is pushed towards the animal pole. You have multi-layered macroblastomeres. This occurs in a mesolecithal egg, and an example is amphibian. Both type of blastula are formed for holoblastic cleavage. Holoblastic cleavage results in coeloblastula. The blastula resulting from holoblastic equal cleavage, as in the case of echinoderms and amphioxus, is called equal coeloblastula. The first picture is equal coeloblastula, where you have just one layer of blastoderm. The holoblastic unequal cleavage, that was the second picture, as in case of frog or mesolecithal egg, which results in unequal coeloblastula. It has a blastocele displayed towards the animal pole and a multi-layered blastoderm, especially the macroblastoderm layer. Stereoblastula. This type of blastula is composed of an aggregate of larger sized and relatively lesser number of cells without or with small blastocelic space in the center. Stereoblastula, it occurs in a variety of animals such as insects, some worms like Nereis, mollusks like Crepidula, gymnophonian amphibians, and certain fishes. Whereas discoblastula consists of a disc-shaped mass of blastomeres overlying a large yolk mass. You have seen the discoblastula. uh, where the for cleavage, discoidal cleavage, that results in what is known as discoblastula. This blastula is a result of meroblastic discoidal cleavage, and in most fishes, reptiles and birds this occurs. There is no blastocele. Instead, a slit-like cavity called subgerminal cavity appears in between the blastoderm and the yolk mass. The yolk mass remains without dividing. Only the upper layer near the animal pole starts division. So you have a subgerminal cavity. So you have a subgerminal cavity that arises between this blastula or the dividing layer and the blastodermal cells and the yolk mass. Blastocyst, it is the blastula stage of mammals, and it consists of holospherical vesicula. It's a hollow one, it's a spherical one, vesicular blastula containing an inner cell mass at the animal pole. There near the animal pole you have an inner cell mass. It is spherical and it is hollow one, where the blastocele is a very spacious one. The embryo proper, it develops from these inner cell mass, and the outer single layer of cells which encloses the blastocele is called the trophoblast, by means of which this blastocyst attaches to the cell wall of the mother. The trophoblast establishes relations with uterine wall and helps in nutrition of the developing embryo. Periblastula, a stage in the embryonic development of most arthropod egg having centrolecithal egg, where the outer blastodermal layer alone keeps on dividing, and the inner yolk mass, it remains as such. That results in what is known as periblastula. The periblastula is a vesicle whose wall consists of one layer of cells and whose cavity is filled with unbroken yolk. It forms as a result of the superficial segmentation of the egg. Then you have the fate map. Actually, it is a diagram of that organism at an early stage of development that indicates the fate of each cell or region at a later stage of development. You can easily distinguish from a blastula or the blastodermal cells which cells are going to form what in on the at a later stage. So that is what is known as fate map. You are constructing a map depending on the fate of each blastoderm. A fate map tells us which part of the egg or early embryo contributes to specific tissues or structures at some later or advanced stage of development. Some animals may have a very strict fate map in which particular parts of the egg or cleavage stage blastomeres always contribute to particular parts of the larva or adult, where it is determinated. Examples include the nematode C. elegans or the Eurocot tunicates, the sea squirts. Whereas some it is indeterminate, you cannot predict the fate map of by seeing the or just by seeing the movement of the cells, where the cell may compensate for the lost one. Example is mammals. Natural markings. The cytoplasm of certain eggs, such as those of ascidians, they have natural pigments within the blastoderm. So you can easily distinguish which comes what. Thus, in eggs of Styla, 4 colored centers have been recognized: an upper hemisphere of light protoplasm, an yellow crescent posterior ventrally, a grey crescent anterior dorsally, and a vegetal area of dark grey yolky substance. The fate of these areas can be followed very easily. The upper clear cytoplasm, it contains the material for epidermal ectoderm. The always a smaller blastoderm, they form, or the microblastoderm, they form the epidermal ectoderm. The grey crescent area differentiates into the prospective neurectoderm and notochord. We learn later how this neurectoderm and notochord forms. The yellow crescent becomes the prospective mesoderm, and the dark grey yolky area forms prospective endoderm. Endoderm is usually formed from the larger blastodermal cells. Artificial markings are used where there is no natural color differentiation. We use artificial markings for this fate construction of fate map. There are three methods to mark or label the early blastomeres by which their fate can be traced out. They vital staining, vital dyes in which would not harm the egg or the blastula, and it follows movement of individual cells or groups of cells. The tissues to which the cells contribute would thus be labeled and visible in the adult organism. The first person was Walter Watt in 1929 who used this technique of vital staining. Watt used small chips of agar. This was impregnated with a vital dye such as Nile blue or Nile red, which he placed on a particular cell or population of cells in Xenopus embryos until the dye completely was absorbed into the yolk platelets within the desired cells. Once the cells were effectively labeled, the agar chip could be removed and the embryo was allowed to develop normally. With this method, Watt was able to distinguish movements of particular cell populations and the ultimate organ or tissue into which they integrated. So, he could easily say which cells formed what. Vital stains are mild blue, sulfate, neutral red, it's not neutral red, it is neutral red, and Janus green, Janus, Janus green. Carbon particle marking, that's the other one, and it was used by Spratt in 1946 to demonstrate the process involved in primitive streak formation in chick. This consists of applying tiny particles of carbon over the surface of blastomeres. They stick to the cell surface and enable to follow the movements of the cells and to determine the fate of these blastomeres. Radioactive isotope labeling is the other one, or the modern one. The radioactive isotopes such as C14 and P are used to label the early blastomeres. By carefully following the course of these radioactive isotopes, the fate of blastomeres can be easily determined. Fate map of typical caudate blastula. The following presumptive areas are discernible in caudate blastula. There is a broad ectodermal area in the animal hemisphere which forms the epidermal layer of the skin. This is known as ectoderm. Usually this layer, the blastoderms of this layer will be small microblastomeres, and this upper portion forms the epidermal layer. This forms the nervous system. So this is the dorsal part or the animal pole region, and the vegetal pole region you have the cells which form the endoderm. This portion forms the notochord, and this region you have the somites and heart forming from this mesocaudal region, and from this region you have the blood, kidney and all from the ventral marginal zone. A relatively small ectodermal area lies below the epidermal ectoderm. This area is known as neurectoderm since it contributes to the formation of neural tube and nervous system. A crescentic area below the neurectoderm is designated as notocaudal area, which gives rise to the notochord of the embryo. On either side of the notocaudal area, two lateral sides. These constitute the prospective mesodermal cells from which you will find blood vessels, uh, tissue, somites, as well as heart developing. Most of the Yawkey vegetal hemisphere blastomeres collectively form the prospective endoderm. And at the caudal margin of the notocaudal area is a small strip of blastomeres called precaudal plate region. This region mainly gives rise to some of the head mesoderm. So this is the frog blastula stage fate map, where you can see all the cells, the epidermal cells, the mesodermal cells, as well as the endodermal cells.